The code for my Saturn has a V in it, so it is the continuously variable. Alright, for this transmission fluid exchange, or rather replacement, these are these are the tools you will need. You can either go the 3/8 route or the 1/2 inch route. Doesn't matter. Having both just works out good. The part number, we'll get to this first. The part number for this transmission fluid is 2268918. Type of fluid it wants you to use, that's the part number. It comes up to a specific ISN, which is the maker of the transmission, their own fluid. Says not to use that part number or that one. That it should lead you to this. That's 22689186. It is a specific transmission fluid for this Saturn Ion's transmission. The code to my Ion indicates it's a CVT type transmission. So I've seen in other videos people use Valvoline. If you turn the bottle over, Valvoline lists all these transmissions it's good with, and it keeps saying except CVT. So I went with what the book told me to get, and this is it. And it's more specific that it's the ATF. It's the T-4 applications. This is a fluid that's going to do it. The book says 3.3 quarts when you're doing it by the book. I bought 5 just in case. It's better to have more on hand than to not have enough. You'll also need a breaker bar, unless you're like Hercules or something, because I tried to get the transmission drain bolt off with this, and if my hand would have slipped, I would have basically smashed my hand. So I grabbed the breaker bar and it got it off like cake. You'll also need a 15/16. In another video, a guy says 24 millimeters to get the transmission drain bolt off. The 15/16 works. There's a little bit of play, but it'll do the job, as you can see. You'll also need the right gasket, because you're going to have to replace this. Unfortunately, I bought the wrong one, so I'm going to have to reuse this. But it's 24 millimeters outside diameter. It's 18 millimeters inside diameter. And it's about 2 millimeters thick. I don't have a tape measure, so we're going old school. As you can see, it is, wouldn't you know, 24 millimeters across. The inner diameter is, let me see, 0 there. Is about 18 millimeters inner diameter. And I think the problem with the gaskets I had was 18 outer. So it's a 24 by 18. Its thickness, this is really light, so it's like, must be aluminum. And you always want to get the same material as the pan, so nothing corrodes. If I get that on the 0 just right, it's about 2 millimeters thick. You'll see that later on in the video. The bolt that holds down the dipstick, that's a 12 millimeter socket. That's all you'll need to get to it. The reason you're going to need all these extensions is that bolt is pretty far down in there, and just this extension alone, which is about 8 inches long, is not enough. You need about 17 inches in length minimum to reach it. And to make it super easy, because that bolt is actually at an angle, it's not directly straight at you, you're going to want a swivel socket. I don't know if that's the right name for this, but that's what I call it because it swivels. Grab one of those and it'll make things a lot easier. Most important things are obviously safety. So if you go the jack route, get some jack stands. I got the car on ramps. I still got a jack stand underneath there just in case. You also need your oil pan to collect the fluid. What else? I got a flashlight for some light, paper towels because it does get a little bit messy, and a little tray to keep everything organized. Other things, again, you want to make sure you get the right gasket and not screw up like I did. Clean the dipstick pretty good once you get it out. and it's actually takes a while for that fluid to drain. So have time, you know, go grab a bite to eat or something. But these are the main things you're gonna need. You're also gonna need some cardboard. I would recommend it. You don't need it, but it's nice. A nice surface to work on. I don't know why you would want to work on gravel. Like, you might want to start questioning things at that point. But something smooth and a trash bag to throw all your stuff away. If you have all these things, you're pretty much good to go. It's just a matter of having enough of this, having the right gasket, and having everything, honestly. You got all that, you're ready to start. Alright, first things first, I want to loosen up that drain bolt, so I'm going to put this car on ramps. There it is, and right next to that yellow thing is, I'm sorry, it's not the drain bolt, it's the hold down bolt to the dipstick. Right next to that is that bolt, so I'm going to get to that. Alright, so to get this comfortably on there, I had to use the very long extensions, but I had to also get a swivel socket. So now I'm just going to undo it, get the bolt out, but leave the dipstick in, and then put this car on ramps. Alright, now I got the car on ramps, so I'm going to take the bolt out. I left it in. I'm going to take it out completely, get my cardboard under there, get my pan, and the 24mm socket, or the 15/16 in my case. Use that, pop it loose. Once the car is on the ramps, you can pull this out. It'll make draining transmission faster. And it takes a little bit of strength. You'll hear a pop, because this car has 180,000 miles on it. This has never been pulled. I can already see the fluid. It's brown. So this was really in there. So you pull it out, hear a little pop, you're good to go. Clean it off, make it look nice. I can't get those grooves, but this is the dipstick. Pull that out, and then you're ready to attack it from underneath. I got my trash bag. I got the cardboard paper, just in case. I got my pan, and got my light, so you can see the bolt is right here. I'm gonna get my ratchet on it. Alright, so I used the breaker bar, because this thing was on tight. As soon as I used the breaker bar, I got it. So it's loose right now, and it's hot. So got it loose. Now I'm just gonna take it out. Car is very warm. Warmer than I would like it to be. Nice. And I definitely need that flat washer that just came out of it. So I gotta get my hands dirty. Oh, it's not too bad. Make sure you pull the dipstick to let it flow like this pretty good. And let that drain. You can honestly wait as long as you like. It's going pretty quick right now. So I'm gonna wait it out and then come back. Alright, 3 hours later, and I'm not kidding, literally almost 3 hours later, it has stopped dripping. So I'm gonna put the bolt back in, make sure I got the washer facing the right direction, because again, I'm reusing this, so I'm gonna switch it to the other side. Make sure the bolt's not like bone dry. You can leave some residue on it, which I think I will. Just a little bit of that drip that's in there. Hopefully I don't drop that thing in, but it dripped for a while, so might want to have something else planned in the meantime to kill time. Alright, that's on there. Now I'm gonna tighten it with a ratchet. This time I'm not gonna use a breaker bar or anything to tighten it up, because that'll be too much. It's only 30 or 40 foot-pounds that it requires for the torque, so it's not a whole lot. Righty tighty. Nope, that's the wrong way. There we go. Oh, no, I actually was going the right way. No, I'm going the wrong way. Okay, I know what I'm doing. I don't want to, what's it called? I don't want to round off this nut. because the only one I had was a 12-point socket, and I don't like 12 points. Okay, just make sure it's snug. Yeah, that's good. I'll wipe that off so I make sure that when I fill this, if there's any leaks, which hopefully there aren't, that I can see them. Because sometimes leaks are slow and they'll deceive you. Sure that's nice and clean. Also make sure the dipstick hole, that's where it's going to be filled according to the book. Make sure that's clean. It even says in the book, make sure it's free of debris. I did the best I could. I used my finger. I used wipes. Let's kind of clean all that up. So that's looking good. I just have an issue with making sure things are snug. Okay. Alright. Now we hit it up top. Start pouring. You'll also need a really long funnel. I got this at the local auto parts store. I think it was $7. So you really need it to be long to get down in there. I can't get the flash on. To get down, where is it? I can't even tell because the yellow thing's not there, but that hole, that's the hole for the bolt, the nut. And that bigger hole, that's the fill hole. So I'm going to put that in there right now. This thing has a weird smell to it, or that's just how transmission fluid smells. First time I've smelled that, so it smells like fish or something, but not like bad fish. Alright, so I got my funnel in there. It's honestly putting a lot of pressure on that hose. I'm not happy about that, but that's the only way I can really get in there and reach the hole. So I'm going to pour 1 quart in and then check to see if it leaks. And then if it's good, well, we'll just pour 1 quart in for now. I have to go. And it sounds like I'm spilling everywhere, so let's see. So I ended up spilling all over the place. This thing, if I let it sit, the hose that it's putting, the pressure that's putting on the hose is putting pressure back on this funnel, and eventually it pops out. So I'm going to have to hold it and pour. I have to go real slow. So I'll check underneath once I get the first quart in and see for leaks. Alright, I got almost a quart in since I spilled all over the freaking place. But I'm just going to clean it a little bit. I don't know what the hell that is. And if any of this is bright pink, well, I can't tell that on a blue towel. But on a white towel, if it's bright pink, then I know I have a leak. But even before I clean this, it doesn't look like it's leaking. So I'm going to say it's good. And then I'll pour a 2nd quart, check, a 3rd quart, check, and a little bit from my 4th since I spilled. So the fastest and best way to know how much you got to put back in is to drain out and measure everything you collected in your pan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour a little bit into that 1st bottle. I'm going to put the 2nd bottle in, pour a little bit into that, and just keep doing it until I have spare bottles, because I didn't actually have a spare bottle. But if you have like a 5-quart oil jug, that's perfect. If you have enough empty single quart jugs, you know, that'll work. Anything where you can measure how much is actually in there in quarts or liters so that you can replace it. That's a fast, quick, and easy way and a more accurate way. So I'm going to pour in my 2nd bottle and then just keep going from there. Alright, so I added the 2nd quart. It's pretty much just a rinse and repeat method. I'm going to take what's in the oil pan, dump it in the 2nd bottle, and just like I said, rinse and repeat, and see how much is actually in there. So I drained 4 bottles. I just basically filled this up, poured it into an extra container. So there's 4 quarts. So I put 4 quarts in. I'm glad I ordered 5 quarts just in case. I know the book said 3.3. You never know. So always order more just in case. So now we got 4 quarts in the car. We'll follow the rest of the instructions. We're gonna put the dipstick back, put the bolt back. Before I button it up, want to make sure there's no drips, no leaks. It's got 4 quarts in there, so if it had a leak, it would have shown by now. And it looks like it's good. The drain bolt, the transmission drain bolt, the one you're looking at right now, right there, that's 30 foot-pounds in case you use a torque wrench if you like. That's the specification for tightening it. Now we're going to put the dipstick in, put the bolt that holds it down back in, and go from there. Alright, the tightening spec on that bolt is 44 inch-pounds, which is not, it's hardly anything really. You just go until it's snug. So I already got that all buttoned up. Now I got to get the car on a level surface, and I'm going to do that without starting the car. So if you have this on a jack, just lower the jack until the wheels are on the ground. In my case, I got to push it off the ramps and use whatever's left in the brake to stop it. And then we turn on the car, and then we're going to go through the list of the book in a second. Alright, so I got the car on a flat surface. We're going to start the engine. Oh, it has 160,000. I thought it had 180. Either way, it's better do this sooner than later. It says to operate until the fluid reaches that temp. I don't have a thermometer. I don't have no way of measuring that temp, so I'm just gonna probably drive this thing around a little bit. But I'm gonna apply the parking brake, depress the gas pedal. Okay, move the, well, actually let me get it a little bit more warmed up. I think normally they run this thing at like 2,000 RPM. Can't get it good control because of the boots I'm wearing. Alright, we'll just call that good. Press the brake, and then we're gonna go through all the gear ranges. So it says 3 seconds in each range, about. Here's a verse. What the heck? Here's neutral. Here's drive. It's already heating up now. Here's incline. At least I think that's what the I stands for. Here's low. So once you do all that, it says to put it back in park, and then push the transmission level gauge into the, oh, so I could put the dipstick back. So I mean, I'm not gonna turn this thing on without a dipstick in it. So I'll go check the dipstick now, and if it's good, we're done. All right, so I pulled it out. It's in between the cold and hot, which is good enough for me. Go ahead, put this back in, tighten it back down. All done.